again. My name is Damilola Raphael, and I'm most happy to welcome you aboard yet another insightful episode of The Bookshelf, live on Western Spring Television, Star Times Channel 190 DTT. Today's keyword is journey. It could be a noun, that is a naming word, or a verb, that is a doing or being word. A journey is an act of traveling from one place to another. It is a set of experiences that someone has over a period of time, especially when they change, that is, the experiences change that person in some way. In education, a journey is a book in which a school child's achievements and the things they have learned are recorded. According to Jewish tradition, a journey is the distance one might travel without violating the law of Exodus chapter 16, verse 29. Pilgrimage. That is a term which can be used to portray an inner spiritual journey through prayer, meditation, or mystical experience. Synonyms for journey include trip, drive, tour, flight, excursion, progress, cruise, passage, trek, outing, expedition, voyage, ramble, jaunt, peregrination, travel, odyssey, adventure, quest, campaign, etc. Now I'll leave you to embark on a fruitful journey to find out about antonyms and adjectives that best suit the term, while I take a very short break. I'll be back. You're welcome back. Our guest, Dr. ROTIMI EGUNJOBI, has extensive experience in academic librarianship spanning over 28 years in various capacities. He started his professional career as a librarian in December 1994 when he was employed as a Librarian 1 by Federal College of Education, Abeokuta. He rose through the ranks to become a deputy college librarian in 2006. He was appointed as the college librarian at the Adeyemi College of Education, Ondo, in November 2009. He served as chairman, Committee of College Librarians in Nigeria, as well as the chairman, Ondo State Chapter of Nigeria Library Association. He joined Federal Polytechnic, Ede, as the Polytechnic Librarian, a position he occupies at present. Dr. EGUNJOBI has published papers in reputable journals and also presented papers in local and international conferences and has several chapters published in various books. His areas of research interest include academic libraries, library services to people with special needs, and ICT application in library services. Dear viewer, please welcome on set with me the esteemed Dr. EGUNJOBI. So glad to have you on set The Bookshelf today, Dr.
Thank you for having me.
Great. So tell us, what is or what makes a library to be so called?
A library is a repository of knowledge containing information bearing materials. Those information bearing materials may be in print, may be digital, or any other form. But it's not complete until you have the human resources.
Okay.
If the librarians, the library officers, the library attendants are not there, it's just a reading room. So for it to be a library, we have both human and material resources combined together.
So you said it's just a reading room when the human component is not included.
Oh, yes.
So the one we have in our houses are reading rooms, no matter how big and well equipped they are.
They are just reading rooms. People call it library, but they are your collections of materials. And you have stored them in that room. Perhaps I should add that the collection of a library is systematically organized. Which you may not really have in personal libraries. There are standards to organize libraries. You have different schemes, whether Library of Congress scheme, or Dewey Decimal Classification scheme, or Bliss scheme, or Colon scheme. There are different schemes you can operate on, which would help you to classify those materials and group them systematically for easy retrieval.
Amazing. So let's talk about the stereotype surrounding your job, your career. You know, used to be said that like nursing, it's said to be mostly majorly a female thing. Now librarianship, you are male and you have made a career out of this. I mean, almost 3 decades.
Yes.
So what has it been like for you this 28 years so far, and the stereotyping around the job?
Well, let me start from the area. It's been an interesting and wonderful experience. Perhaps I should just add that even though I came into the profession by accident, but it's been a profession I've come to love and cherish. People who look at us from the outside will say we are just gazing at books. The work of librarianship is more deeper and technical than gazing at books. Now coming to stereotypes, the field is open to all. Just like we have males that have achieved, we also have females that have achieved tremendously in the profession. If you take a census of heads of academic libraries particularly, you see that it's a mixture of both male and female. And if you go down the ladder of the practicing librarians too, it's the same. So we cannot really say that is a gender biased profession. It's a career for all. Amazing.
So let's look at the future, you know, for being a librarian. What are the benefits in it for the librarian and the future? Is there still the possibility of there being job openings, as it were, for someone who wants to take up a career in that field?
The benefit for the person is living in the world of knowledge. Especially if you are a classifier, a cataloger, the job you are doing will take you through many books, which you would have to be familiar with the content of the book. And that gives you more knowledge on a daily basis. I used to joke that the librarian is a nurse, the librarian is a teacher, the librarian is well, any area of knowledge that the person can just because he has knowledge in those years. Yes. More importantly, because he's surrounded by books, he's surrounded by information. Now on the future of the profession, I used to say that the field of librarianship was green, but it's now greener. A person like me joined the profession at a time when the profession was not very known. And in fact, we had to finish our first degree before we came into the profession. But as at now, the profession has been brought down even to the level of degree and HND, OND, HND certificates. We're having more and more people practicing the profession today than it used to be. And even with the number, as the number is increasing, we still have a very large chunk of areas that librarians are not covered. Take the school library system, for example. Most of our secondary schools don't have libraries. For those who have, they are not manned by professionals. An average school is supposed to have a library because schooling is synonymous with knowledge, and knowledge is pursuit of information.
Indeed.
And you cannot do with information without the library, because it's a storage of information. And now, as long as there are schools, as long as there are knowledge, as long as there is information, there will be librarians, because we need to store those information, especially for the young upcoming generation. Let me also add that the presence of libraries, especially at the tertiary level of education, is a compulsion. Without libraries, colleges, universities, polytechnics will not be accredited. So, and any new institution that is established, the library must operate. So we have very wide area, not to talk about the law libraries, like if you have a chamber as a lawyer, you're supposed to have a library. The librarian is supposed to work there. Even this television station is supposed to have a library. The librarian is supposed to work there, and so on and so forth. So we call those ones special libraries. We have those we call public libraries. Those ones are the state library, the local government library, and we have those that we call academic libraries. Those ones are for tertiary institutions, while the school libraries are for the school, primary, secondary school system.
Wow. So let's take it now, go deeper. Let's talk about one of the so many things you do, and that's the journey of a book. I actually, we said today, dear listener, that the keyword is journey. And Doctor himself gave me that, the journey of a book. So Doctor, you're going to explain to us in detail the journey of a book till it makes it to the shelf. Okay.
When a book has left the book trade aspect, that is the publishing aspect. When a book is published, and wants to get to the shelf in the library, there is a process it has to go through. Let me start with the acquisition process.
All right.
And that is how to acquire a book from the market. There are many books in the market covering different various subject areas by different authors. And it's not possible for a library to have all books published in the world. Even in Nigeria, no single library can have all the books published in Nigeria. Because there are various subject areas, there are various authors, there are various publishers. But you, as a librarian, you want to determine what are the relevant ones from the lot that you have in the book market that you need to acquire for your library. So you need to look at the relevancy of the content of those materials to your users.
As the librarian.
As the librarian. And there is a way we do that. We relate with our users on their needs. We use statistics of materials used. We use statistics of materials they have come to request for. Sometimes people will come to request for a book in my library, which I may not have. The onus rests on me to get in touch with some other libraries around, maybe locally or internationally, and get it for the user. But beyond that, the onus also rests on me to get a copy of that if it's in good demand. Now, having acquired the book, you need to stamp the book with your ownership stamp. We call that process collation. You need to collate, check for the completeness of the book. If there are errors somewhere, you may need to return it. Now, if it has met your specification, you stamp. We have an ownership stamp. Then you also you also put another stamp that where we have the classification system, the classification mark, and that you will use to trace it on the shelf. Then you place the book marker, the book pocket, where you have the card representing that book. All those processes are done at the acquisition system. Then it will go to the next stage.
Doctor, before you move to the next stage, you talked about the security.
Yes, there is a security.
Right.
You have to, as a library, you have to determine the security page of your library. And you have to put something there.
Okay.
which will make you to recognize it is yours. An average person that picks that book may not even know that what you have placed there is there. But if you want to determine whether it is your book, you just go to that page and you see the mark you have put there. That's your security page.
Security page.
And that is what we use to trace our books when they are stolen. Now, from the acquisitions level, you go to the cataloging and classification level. And that is where they give it a number representing the subject area. Whereby that number, it is that number that will tell you where it is placed on the shelf. Then the cataloging will also do a description. We call it bibliographic description. Bibliographic description. Biblo means book.
All right.
Bibliographic description. That description will give the author, the title, the publisher's name, the place of publication, and the ISBN. That is International Standard Bibliographic Number. It will also give you the subject areas represented by the content of that book. For example, if it's literature, you will have it there. Now, even in literature, you go down to poetry, you have it there. And if it's poetry on Africa, you have it there. So this is a kind of index to trace the information in that book. We call it the catalog. That catalog is usually represented on a card, sometimes in book form if it's a small library. That card is stored in what you call the catalog cabinet. And that is the place the person will go first if you are looking for a book in the library. You're supposed to go to the catalog cabinet, check whether what you have is really in that library. What you want is really in that library. If it's there, you pick it, you look at the call number. That call number is what you write down, and you go and trace it on the shelf. So that is the journey of a book to the shelf.
To the shelf. So this has really been expository. Let us talk about the use of the library now. I mean, sitting with Doctor, honestly, and some of the librarians that I've met with, and you're getting all of the details as to the process, the procedure. You know, what you have most times is you just walk into the library, and I find people going straight to the shelf. Doctor, what is the process? How do you start from the door? Being a registered librarian, because to use the library you have to be registered.
As a registered user.
Yes, library user.
When you come to the library, you are armed with some information that you need. The first thing is you need a book. Let's take a book, for example. You need a book. Is it on which subject? Is it on English language? You already know that I'm going to look for a book on English language.
All right.
What really do I want in that book? Am I studying grammar? So definitely you need a book on grammar, English grammar. Am I studying a book on poetry? Or is it a non-fiction that I need? Those are the information you have.
All right.
If it's not like that, if it's another subject area like economics, do you already have an author in mind? In our days, we used to read O.L. Economics for ordinary levels. Is it by that author? Do you have that author in mind? Or if you don't have any author in mind, you already know that you are looking for a book on economics. And those are the kind of information that should guide you to the catalog cabinet. The first place to go...
Not the shelf.
Not the shelf.
Good.
The first place to go is the catalog cabinet, because it will save you time. It saves you stress. If you get to the catalog cabinet and there is nothing representing what you want, there is no need going to browse on the shelf. The next thing is to contact the librarian that is on ground. Madam, Mr., sorry, I've come to check for a book on economics. I've not been able to identify any from your cabinet. What do you do for me? The person will either direct you or do what we call, give you a form requesting for it, and go on interlibrary loan for that material. It will give you a time to come back for it. That is how it's supposed to be. If somebody goes directly to the shelf, what he's doing is just browsing. And he may not be able to even go directly to where it's supposed to go. For example, you in an average library where you have about 30 shelves, maybe it's only 2 shelves that represent language, African languages. And if you need a material on African languages and you have gone to the catalog cabinet, it will direct you to that shelf by the call number. Usually, is it Z 115? That's a call number. So you know you are going to a shelf that has Z as the mark. So you just go to the layers of the shelf. Where is 115? Is it will range between 100 and 130 or something like that? And you go there, you check, and you pick. But if you don't go to the cabinet, you just go there, start browsing, you may not be able to quickly get what you want.
Wow, this really is amazing. I mean, there's so many other talking points, but do not worry. Remember, on the bookshelf, we have said everyone that has to do with the book, even an actor, yes, you deal with books because you read your script. Everyone is welcome right here on the bookshelf. We have to just put paid right now, pause on the broadcast of the bookshelf right now, and we have to let Dr. go. But of course, join a promise from him that he will be making a return on the show the next time we invite him.
It will be my pleasure to come back.
Thank you very much indeed, Dr. Egunjobi, for joining us on the bookshelf today. That's all, folks. Remember that you can't finish if you don't start. The journey to your success begins now. I'll see you again next time on the bookshelf. Keep moving, keep writing. My name is Damilola Raphael. Goodbye and God bless.